You can. But this one thing about niggas, I did it again. To all my Brooklyn niggas. To all my Uptown niggas understand. To all my Bronx, nigga. To all my Queensbridge. Back up, chump, you know Biggie Smalls flips it quick and kicks it quick. You know how black niggas get. With the hood fatigues, with the boots, with trees. Smoking weed, flipping keys, making crazy G's. Hitting buckshots at niggas that open spots on the avenue. Take my loot and I'm bagging you. Pippin' hoes that drive bobos and rodeos. Blast the roll, make them wet in they pantyhose. Damn, a nigga style is unorthodox. Grip the Glock when I walk down the crowded blocks. Just in case a nigga wanna act out, I just black out, blow they motherfucking back out. That's a
yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show. I am your host. My name is Mr. Tariq King Flex Nasheed, also known as Tariq Elite, also known as TN. You know what that means. Had to play a little Biggie Smalls to commemorate and honor the life of Biggie Smalls. This is March 9th, the anniversary of Biggie Smalls' death. Now, I don't want to bring the show down. I just wanted to give a quick acknowledgement, so shout out to the spirit of Biggie. Today's show is brought to you by MackLessons.com. That's where you can get all your Macking needs. You can get all the pay-per-view specials, Macking for Money, Secret Societies, the Illuminati, Black Feminism, Black Secret Societies, The Real Egypt, Sex Magic, all my wonderful pay-per-view specials. You can get them at MackLessons.com, everybody. I also have a Mack Lessons Radio iPhone application that's going to be available next week on iTunes, because a lot of people have been asking me about that. They've been saying, man, we need to get some apps for our Android phones and our iPhones, and I'm going to have the Mack Lessons Radio iPhone application on sale at iTunes next week. It's only $1.99. So you can download it to your iPhone. You get to listen to the Mack Lessons Radio Show any and everywhere you need that game. You have the game right at your fingertips, right at your disposal. You're going to love the game. The game is real heavy. And again, that's going to be available on iTunes next week. The Mack Lessons Radio Show application. And also you can see photos. We're going to update photos every other day on the application. So it's going to be a real fun, interactive thing. Now, I want to get some rhymers out here. I've been having a lot of different contests, especially on Ustream. A couple of months ago, we had the Best Dressed Player contest on Ustream. And recently, we just had the Best Dressed Female contest on Ustream. And I want to thank all the young ladies who submitted their photos. The young ladies were absolutely beautiful. They were dressed wonderfully. The winner was Andrea Carter. Shout out to Andrea Carter. She won the $100. She looked beautiful. Everybody enjoyed the contest, and we're going to have more contests. What I want to do now, I want to get some rhymers. I'm putting together a mixtape for the Mack Lessons Radio Show. I want to get some cats who can rhyme. I want to get some cats who can spit that hot greasy. And I want to have some females submit some of your hot fire too. You guys, if you're a female rapper and you spit that hot fire, send me your game, send me your hot fire, a demo of it at info@tariqelite.com. All my dudes too, if you spit that hot fire, I want to have you on the new Mack Lessons mixtape. I'm going to spit some hot fire with you. We're just going to have a real good time with it, because we did one mixtape called Mack in the Day. You guys can get that for free at MackLessons.com, and I was bumping some old 80s and 90s jams, but the new mixtape, we're going to spit hot fire. So info@tariqelite.com. That's where you send some of your game. And also, if you submit your stuff, have a program where you can record online, because if we sing you some tracks, we want you to spit that hot greasy and then mail it right back. Don't send us some shit where you done recorded it in your grandma's bathroom and the shit sounds real raggedy. But I digress. Speaking of Ustream, we're going to do a Ustream show later on tonight. It's late right now. It's late Wednesday, March 9th. But we're going to do a Ustream show later on tonight and chop up good game. That's going to be fun as usual. Go to ustream.tv/Tariq Elite. I think that's my Ustream URL. You can go to Ustream and just search Tariq Elite Show, and you can get that information. And all my people who are on Facebook, as you know, Hidden Colors, the documentary, it will be out April 14th. It will screen in Los Angeles, it will screen in Atlanta, and it will screen in New York City. The Los Angeles screening or showing of it will be at the Music Hall Movie Theater. That's in Beverly Hills. It's going to air at, I think, 8 o'clock that night. And all of these spots, every city is one night only. So if you're on the West Coast, everybody who's on the West Coast, come down to Los Angeles that Thursday, April 14th, at the Music Hall Movie Theater in Beverly Hills. If you're in Sacramento, come on down to LA. If you're in the Bay, come on down to LA. If you're in San Diego, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, come on down to Los Angeles and support the film. And all you LA people, because a lot of LA people, they'll kind of run away from anything black. Not all, but a lot. I ain't talking about my LA natives. I'm talking about a lot of the people who transfer here from other places. Because you meet somebody in LA, they jet black, and they'll admit to being everything under the sun except black. We have a lot of that out here in LA. We have a lot of chocolate Portuguese and Spanish women who black as hell and won't acknowledge any kind of black features. We have a lot of that. But again, don't be afraid of blackness. The documentary is real good, LA. Come on out, all my West Coast people, April 14th, 2011 at the Music Hall Theater. Now it's going to be Saturday 16th in Atlanta at the Plaza Movie Theater. I think that's on Ponce de Leon. That's going to be at 8 o'clock. And in New York City, in Manhattan, Sunday, April 17th, there's going to be 2 showings at the Cinema Village Movie Theater in Manhattan. There's going to be a showing at 7 and a showing at 9. And we had to get 2 showings in New York because we know those are going to sell out. New York always represents when it comes to some game like this. When it comes to that knowledge, New York always represents. So we had to just double up the shows for New York. So that's going to be on Sunday, April 17th in New York. For more information, go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. hiddencolorsfilm.com. Now, I know we were supposed to do a showing in Chicago, but we couldn't find a theater there. But hey, any people, if you want the movie to be in your city, you holler at the theaters there and have them contact me. Just do it that way. I've been getting a lot of emails. Man, is it going to be in Minneapolis? Is it going to be in Miami? Is it going to be in Dallas? Holler at your theaters there. If you want it in your city, holler at them and then have them holler at me. And we can do it like that. But for right now, it's going to be in New York, LA, and Atlanta. All right. And for more information, go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. All right. Now let me get into some game. Y'all ready to get into some game? Let's get into some game. Let me put on some Mack music. Now, before I get into the game, let me read an email from one of our lady listeners. A lot of ladies have been sending me emails lately. A lot of the women listeners have been sending me emails lately because I've been doing a lot of shows for ladies. And some of the fellas are like, hey, don't get too far with the ladies now. You need to stick to the game for fellas, which I'm going to keep doing the game for fellas. I even thought about doing a second show, a totally different show specifically for ladies. And I've been kind of throwing that idea in my mind for a minute, so I won't just get the 2 shows crossed up. Because with the Mack Lessons Radio show, I like to go hard in the paint. With guys, we can go real hard with it. And with the women, we can still go hard, but there's a lot of other things that we have to cover. So I'm thinking about doing a totally different show. Along with this, we're still going to do the Mack Lessons Radio show forever, but do another show with a female co-host and just spit some game for the ladies. So I'm thinking about doing that, but we'll see. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I digress. Like I said, I got an email from a young lady, and this is what the email says. It says, "What's up, Tariq? I need your help with some situations that I'm going through right now. Me and this dude, we've been messing around for about 6 months now, and he's playing the same game. At first, he wants to be with me, but he was like he didn't want to hurt me because he thinks that I'm going to get back with my ex-husband. I've been trying to explain to this man that my ex-husband and I are done. So now he sees this, all of a sudden he bags off. I'm calling, I'm texting this man and no replies. He'll reply every now and then. When I do talk to him, he says he's not ready for a relationship. And I honestly thought that's the level we were on. I need your help. Tell me, where's this guy coming from? What message is he trying to send? 1 minute he's cool, the next minute he's not cool. He acts like he wants to be down, but he says he's not ready for a relationship. I'm 23 years old. I've never had a relationship with no other dude besides him and my husband, and I got played by both of them. So what should I do? And I'm not going to put a name out there, but this is the situation. And a lot of women send me emails like this. They're in a situation with a guy and they want to be in a relationship with the guy. And the guy is kind of standoffish. It's like a give, push away relationship. They give a little, then they push away. The thing is, a lot of times guys can be sexually compatible with you, but you have no other compatibility. And that's what this sounds like. I don't want to use the term jump off because that creates a negative aura. And a lot of times people don't want to look at themselves as jump offs because the image of a jump off we have is some loose, skanky woman. But just because a woman is a jump off doesn't mean she's loose or skanky. She's just not the main chick. But we won't even use the term jump off. We'll just say that a lot of you women out there, including the young lady who sent this email, a lot of you are really sexually compatible with these dudes that you're dealing with, but you really have nothing else in common. You have a fantasy relationship in your mind or an idea of what you want a relationship to be in your mind, but in reality, nothing else is really clicking like that. Or the guy's just not really down. The guy likes you for sex. See, the thing is, with the email that this young lady sent, the guy said he's afraid that she's going to get back with her husband. See, that's a second degree player excuse. That brother gave a very good answer. That's some second degree player shit. He's putting it on you. He's not trying to be in a relationship with you because it's your fault. It's your situation that you have going on over there. But really, the guy just don't want to be down like that. Maybe this guy is dealing with another woman. Maybe he's just doing him right now. He don't want no serious relationship, and he likes the sexual compatibility with you. And the thing is, ladies, you have to ask yourself, are you really trying to be in a relationship, or you just like the idea of a relationship? Because a lot of dudes, we have intuition too. We know when a woman is not wifey material. We know that you're not relationship material. We know if we made a commitment to you, you would probably be on some bullshit. It's a thrill of a challenge type thing with some of you women. A lot of you women like the challenge of trying to wrangle a guy into a relationship. And once you get into that relationship, you turn into some other shit. So a lot of guys, we see that. So you have to ask yourself all these questions, ladies. Are you relationship material? Besides being sexually compatible, what else is it about you that's compatible with the guy that you're pursuing? You have to ask yourself questions like this, ladies. And then you'll come up with the answer, because there's a million different reasons as to why a lot of these dudes just don't want to be in a relationship with you. Maybe it's them. Maybe it's some stuff popping off with you. Maybe it's the situation at that moment. But the thing is, you need to accept whatever is popping off at that moment and not try to put a circle into a square peg. Think about that for a minute, ladies. Let that soak in. Now let me get into some game for my players, for my brothers out here. Now, what we're going to talk about today, fellas, we're going to talk about some spring 2011 dating strategies. We're going to go ahead and get into some new dating strategies. It's about to be spring 2011, so we need to upgrade and bump the game up. Just like when you get a computer program, you're using Adobe or you're using a Java program, every couple of months, you turn your computer on and it says, we have new updates for this software. You don't have to change the whole thing, but we're gonna download a couple of updates for you. And that's what we're doing today. We're updating some of the dating strategies that I've been going over for years. Because again, you know, the game changes every few months, so all my players have to stay on top of their game. So what we're going to talk about is how to deal with the different tiers of women who are in the dating game. In the dating game, in the dating arena, meaning women who are actively dating. Women who are actively dating, there are 3 tiers of women. You have tier 1. The tier 1 females, those are the women between 18 and 23. The tier 1 women are the most desirable physically. The tier 1 women, bodies, face, all of that is popping off. And the tier 1 women have a lot of guys campaigning for them. The tier 1 women are majorly in demand. A lot of dudes are trying to get at the tier 1 women. The thing about the tier 1 women, a lot of these women, because so many dudes are coming at them and campaigning for them, they think that they've mastered the dating game. A lot of these women, it's hard to give them dating advice because they equate a bunch of guys getting at them as dating. That's not really dating. Because again, a lot of the tier 1 women have a whole bunch of dudes trying to bang them. So they don't know how to transfer that in their mind for what it is. It's just a physical, superficial thing. So those are the tier 1 women. So you got to deal with them a certain way, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. Then you have the tier 2 females. Now these females are between 24 and 30. Now these are the women, they're just getting out of that tier 1 stage. Now these women, they're starting to see that the metabolism is slowing down a little bit. You know, they can't eat and drink and smoke like they used to. See, all that partying and drinking and eating and smoking that they did when they were in the tier 1 stage, it's starting to catch up with them a little bit in the tier 2 stage. So now they become a little more self-conscious. Some of that little attitude dwindles down just a taste. A little reality starts to kick in just a taste. And these women, their mentality starts to change at around 24, between that 24 to 30 age range. Their mentality changes a little bit. They become aware of themselves and they become aware that they are getting a tad bit older, so they start making some very strong decisions. And I'm going to get onto that in a minute. Then you have the tier 3 females. These are the women between 31 and 40 who are out there in the dating game. And I stopped at 40 because a lot of women should be married or just completely out of the dating game on a normal level at around 40. Now, you still have older women who date and older men who date or out there in the dating scene, but generally, a lot of people are pretty much in their situation by 40. And I'm going to do a show later on about older Mac and older dating and all that stuff, but we're just talking general right now. Now, the tier 3 female, now these women are usually women who have gotten out of a long-term relationship. They were in a relationship in their 20s, or sometimes even in their late teens. They were probably married, long engagement or something. So they're just getting into the dating game probably at a late stage, or getting back into the dating game at a later stage. And the thing is, these women, they understand the whole competition of the tier 2 and the tier 1 females. They're aware of the competition, and you can use that to your advantage, and I'm going to get onto that. So let me talk about how to deal with the tier 1, tier 2, and the tier 3 females. Let's talk about how to deal with them. Now, dealing with the tier 1 female, the top one, the top notch, the most desired, because of the physical, what you want to do, fellas, you want to avoid any type of thirsty behavior on your part. Because tier 1 women deal with thirsty dudes on a regular basis. Tier 1 women are usually in thirsty dude environments where dudes are pretty young and really don't have their money right, so they have to really act thirsty to get women. This is usually on a college campus or neighborhood parties or skating rinks, because a lot of these women are barely old enough to get into clubs, so they have to hang in real thirsty environments where there's a bunch of thirsty dudes. So the last thing you want to do is have any type of thirsty behavior with the tier 1 woman. Complimenting her every 5 minutes, telling her how big her ass is, making any kind of sexual innuendo. You have to cut that out. Don't make any kind of sexual references with the tier 1 female. Also, what you do not want to do if you do meet up and exchange phone numbers and chop up game with a tier 1 female, you don't want to engage into her mindless chatter, because the thing is, a lot of tier 1 women, because so many dudes pretend that they're interesting because they want to get off in them draws, a lot of tier 1 women don't learn how to upgrade their mouthpiece. So they have these babbling, idiotic, moronic conversations with you sometimes, and a true to the game player could care less about what they're talking about because it's really nothing of substance. You get on the phone with them and they're talking about how they're going to get their hair done like Rihanna. They're talking about the boots they got at the mall. They're talking about a fight that their friend got in at school. I mean, just bullshit that you can care less about. And the thing is, some dudes who don't know the game, they'll sit up and act like that's the most interesting thing ever while listening to this mindless nonsense. As a player, you're not going to sit up and listen to the tier 1 woman's babble. You got to be above that. If you sit up and listen to her damn babble, you're beneath her, and she's going to look at you as being beneath her. So what you have to do, you have to upgrade her mouthpiece. You have to upgrade her game, and you do that by upgrading your game. Now, a lot of these tier 1 women, they like talking, so you have to use that and steer that to your advantage. Stop her from giving you mindless chatter. Get her to talk about herself and her background. Use the fact that she likes to talk, but get her to talk about who she is, where she's from, how she grew up, her goals, her desires. Get her to talk about herself and project all that stuff onto you. Get her to talk about that and you in there. That's how you get into her mind. You get her to think deep about certain things. You understand that? When you ask the right questions and you steer the conversation in a progressive way, you make her think deep. You teach her how to think deep and she'll respect you for it. But if you sit up and let her babble about bullshit, she's going to look at you as just being another one of the homegirls. You got to upgrade that mouthpiece. So again, stop listening to the mindless babble of some of these girls out here, especially these tier 1s. I don't give a damn how good they look. Make them step their mouthpieces up, and you step yours up, fellas. Now, dealing with the tier 2 female. Now, the tier 2 female, these are the new chicks. The tier 2 females, again, these are the women who are 24 to 30, and what they do, they see a lot of new women coming in on the scene. Now, the tier 2 women, they're still in the game. You know, they're still out there dating, clubbing. A lot of dudes are trying to holler at them. They're still fine. But now the new crop of girls are coming in. Now the new first round draft picks are coming in. Now the rookies are coming in. And that's competition. And they understand that competition. And the thing is, they understand the competition, and also these women can see that 30-year-old birthday over the horizon. They can look across the horizon and they can see 30 kind of coming up. So now these women start to make decisions. They have to start getting goal-oriented. See, what these women do, they do one or two things. They either get very serious about life in that tier 2 stage, or they'll try to get out their last bit of sluttiness. They want to get that last sluttiness out of their system because they know they're going to have to really slow it down at around 30. So these women are going to go in one direction or the other. They're going to become very family oriented. They're going to be talking to dudes about if they want kids, and they're going to start talking about that. They're going to start looking at potential long-term partners. They're going to start looking for security in the guys they deal with. Even on a subconscious level, they'll look at guys and see, well, can this dude provide for me? Can this dude be a lifelong partner? Can I see myself having a kid with this guy? They'll start looking at dudes in those terms in that tier 2 stage, or they're going to be like, well, look, I got about a few more years until I'm 30. Let me get all the dick I can amass and just get it out my system because I won't be able to do this while I'm 30 or 40. Let me get into that threesome I always wanted to do. Let me lay it with a couple of girls. I never tried a little lesbianism. Let me try a little bestiality. There's a horse that I like. I mean, you got to look and see what she's trying to get out of her system. And again, you can work that to your advantage. If you're a guy who's trying to get into a relationship, the tier 2 female is a pretty good candidate. If that's what you want, if you're a dude, you want to get into a relationship, you holler at the tier 2 female who's trying to get her goals together. If you want you a cool little freak, get you a tier 2 female who's trying to get that shit out of her system. So that works to your advantage on both sections. And last but not least, you have the tier 3 female, the woman who's between 31 and 40. And like I said, a lot of these women, they get out of long-term relationships. Something went wrong in the relationship they were with. They were in a long-term thing that went terribly wrong. So a lot of these women, they need reassurance. And you can get into a little sexual conversations with some of these tier 3 females. Whereas with the tier 1 female, you don't talk about sex or no sexual innuendos whatsoever with the tier 1 woman. The tier 3 female, you can get into that. Because they need to feel sexually desired. They need that. They need sexual reassurance. So a lot of these tier 3 females, they end up being real freaks because they've been stifled into one relationship for a long time, or they've been out of the game for a long time. So when you get around them, they're ready to go. You say one or two fly things to them, and plus you get them away from the family and the kids, because most of these tier 3 females, they have kids. So you get them away from the kids, go out with her, kick it with her, give her a little something to drink, and she's good to go. Tell her how fly she is. Come over to the crib and lay it down. Because there's a lot of advantages of dealing with the tier 3. See, the tier 3 females, they know that they can't really compete with them tier 1s. Some tier 3 females can hang in there with the tier 2s. But the tier 3 females, they know they ain't fucking with them tier 1s. And you have to let her know that she ain't fucking with them tier 1s. But not in a negative way. Not in an overt way. See, the thing is, you have to let the tier 3 female know that you're doing her a favor by fucking with her. You let her know that you're gracing her with your presence. You could be out there with some of them tier 1s. But she's cool enough to make you focus on her. That's the vibe and the energy that you have to give a tier 3 female. Don't ever let a tier 3 female act like she's a tier 1 to you. Because we see that a lot. Sometimes you guys are with these tier 3 females and they start acting like tier 1s and you start treating them like they're tier 1s. That's the worst you can do. Let her know that she's a tier 3. And let her know that you know that the tier 1 females are out there and they're ready to go. They're down. And let the tier 3s stay in the tier 3's place. So the thing about the tier 3s, another thing, if you want to catch some of them, because the tier 3s can't compete with the tier 1s, they're not out there in the clubs, they're not going to the little Cancun vacations in Vegas, they're not going to Miami every week like the tier 1s. A lot of the tier 3 females will become extreme workaholics. They'll become major workaholics, or they will become very active in the church. The churches are filled with tier 3 females. Churches and occupations, jobs, all of those are filled with tier 3 females. If you want to catch, and I know it sounds cliche, but if you want to catch you a cool little tier 3 female who got a little freak in her, you go up in them churches. Also, what you need to do is go around your city on the lunch breaks. At around 12 noon, 1 o'clock, you see a whole bunch of tier 3 females walking all around Atlanta. You see them all walking around Manhattan. If you're in LA, you'll see them all over there in Century City, Santa Monica. You see a bunch of tier 3 females on their lunch breaks. You holler at them and you campaign with them there. What you don't want to do, you don't want to catch a tier 3 female at the club, because if tier 3 females are going to the club, there's a level of insecurity there, and a lot of times they will overdo it at the clubs. They'll go extra hoochie at the club, and nothing is worse than seeing a 40-year-old chick dressed up like Nicki Minaj at the club. You don't want to mess with that. That's a hot damn mess. that's just trouble. You don't want to mess with that. I know it looks like an easy target, but you don't even want to mess with that. Get them tier 3s at church, at work, lunch breaks, out doing chores. Spit your game, put your bid in, and you will be elected. Everybody, that's been today's episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show. Glad to have everybody tuning in. Don't forget the movie Hidden Colors. Come on out and see it. Go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. Los Angeles is going to be April 14th. Atlanta, April 16th. New York, April 17th. Go to hiddencolorsfilm.com for more info. Peace. Holla.